This is a Heart and Hand production.
Hello everyone, it's David here live from Ibrox Stadium, and I can assure you that the game is going ahead. Everyone who's supposed to be here is here, and the game will take place tonight. Joining me to discuss the lineup is Martyn Ramsey. Good evening, Martyn.
Good evening, David.
And the Rangers team has two changes from the side that started the match at the weekend. James Tavernier comes in for Dujon Sterling, who drops to the bench. And into midfield, probably no shock here at all, Mo Diamandi replaces Tello Asgard. Bar that, it's the same. So the lineup is in goals Jack Butland, the back four, Tavernier, Suter, Magoma and Fernandez. I'd missed a centre-half out there. Midfield trio of Raskin, Barron and Diamandi. Up front for Rangers, Gassama, Moore and Yusuf Chermiti. Martyn, no real surprises there. People will obviously look into the Dujon Sterling, but I was pretty sure he wouldn't play this one because I think of the two, they would rather have him for Pittodrie, and at the moment I don't think that they want to risk him 3 games in a week.
Oh, absolutely not. I think the events of the week would have very little bearing, to be honest. I didn't expect him to be cramming 3 very big games, not just 3 games, but 3 very important games into that schedule. If he's missing on Sunday, then there's maybe questions about other things, but he's on the bench, so obviously available should Tav pick up a knock with 5 minutes to go on and all that. So now when he was rested for, was it Dundee United or maybe St
Mirren?
He was rested completely. He was, managers almost kind of taking that sweetie out the box so that they are not tempted to use it, kind of thing. Yeah. That's obviously not the case here, but. No huge surprise on that. That's absolutely fine. No huge surprise with the Dio thing either. However, I'll be interested in your thoughts on this. The match situation, the kind of game it was, the kind of fixture and how Celtic were set up, probably did ask for that change in that kind of flatter midfield. Is that the same tonight? And is there a danger of getting stuck into that very depressed, setback, flat kind of
3? Yeah,
that we have seen far too often here, that maybe lends itself better to bigger games. Yeah.
Based on the form of the games leading up to Saturday, Asgard would be playing ahead of Diamandi. Asgard hasn't been brilliant, but he did get a couple of goals and Diamandi had been really poor. It's clearly based on Saturday's performance that he's elected to take Asgard out the side. I kind of share that concern a little bit. I've always thought of that as a European midfield. What I would hope then that it pushes Raskin on, because I don't like seeing Raskin dawdling about as a number 6. I know he can do it. I know he does it for Belgium. We get reminded of that a lot. But he showed on Saturday what he does when he goes forward. What I did like on Saturday, I'd like to see continuing in the second half, obviously, was the 3 of them were interchanging the roles. 1 would go, or 2 would go and 1 would sit. And they did it interchangeably and they did it well. So I'd like to see that continue tonight.
Into space,
yeah, that's the thing. But I think that tonight it will be a case of, up against a team. Look, they've just sacked their manager. It's Aberdeen for the start. They're coming to Ibrox, right? But they have just sacked a manager. They've been really poor this season in its entirety. They've been really poor in the calendar year 2025, right? Bar 1 game.
By the cup, yeah.
Thankfully. But they're going to come and they will sit in. We know this, right? So you're going to need your... And maybe he's feeling that those that Diamandi are asking are more your lock pickers potentially than Asgard. Asgard... He can't complain he's not in the side. That's the thing. It's not like he'd been playing really well and Diamandi had been playing poorly and then Saturday happened. I think he would have a legitimate shout then. I think the manager, he may be expressing a bit of frustration with his performance, Martyn, because, he doesn't... I think we sometimes don't trust managers when they say things like, well, he deserved to start after what I'd seen and maybe he didn't, is the converse of that.
Yeah, possibly. I'm throwing it out there that we've moaned many times about matches here against teams that will book in for bed and breakfast, and our midfield is too flat and it is not pushing. It doesn't have the space to be as fluid perhaps as it was on Saturday. And Asgard has been all right. He's been better than Dio at home in these kind of fixtures. And if you really were, and I'm just chucking it out there, if you really were maybe playing devil's advocate or Asgard's advocate, he had to make that foul on Saturday. It was a booking, he knew that. But with memories of the cup final in his mind, it's probably no fucking surprise that he wasn't really getting too tight to players. So he basically just took him out the game.
It did.
That's a different thing. And as I said, I'd just be a little concerned with that midfield. And if he'd gone with the same with Tav and Sterling moving out, I wouldn't have any complaints.
What I will say though is that you do have the option in the second half to bring Asgard on, or you can shove Moore more central. I mean, I prefer Moore more central anyway.
That's what we need. I think going forward, we need other width. I think that's very, very
a 4-2-3-1 with Moore in the middle of it. Yeah. No, I would agree with that. It'll be interesting to see if Rangers do sign a number 6. Chris Jacks just walked into the room and he said earlier Rangers are close to 2 signings. Go on, Chris. Come on, tell it.
I didn't actually say that.
What?
I've seen this reported that I said that. I never said that.
Well, there's an exclusive for you folks.
That's the broadcast live.
Chris Jack saying he didn't claim this after all. Well, that great, right? Wayne's greeting. Thanks, Chris. Talk about a turnaround, Martin, right? Tonight, Yusuf Shamiti, when he comes out for his warm-up, is going to get a markedly different reaction to what he was getting a few weeks ago.
And good for him.
Yes.
Because he has stuck to his task. And I've not been on shows for a while, but anyone on my bus will be able...
Through choice, don't blame me.
But anyone on my bus coming back from St Mirren on the 30th or whatever will vouch for the fact that I said he'll score on Saturday. Because I thought he'd looked good. I have said this a few times, and Adam and I have been kind of back and forward. He has looked like his feet have been on backwards at times, but his movement, I think, has always been pretty good. And he's also got a bit of power there. The boy played about 20 minutes of football in 2 years.
And it looked
and there's no way he was turning up like he did on Saturday in September. That just wasn't on. And he snatched at something the other time as well.
Redolent of perhaps a certain Mark Hateley's first season.
Well,
not comparing them as players before anyone gets overexcited. There are parallels.
I think, we can get into a whole other show about the harshness
that
Hateley's first season kind of got into Aberdeen. But anyway, well done, because he could have easily, as other players at this football club in the last 5, 10, 15 years, who have not hit the ground running and therefore have been set on fire by the support, their head go down, they get completely lost within themselves, and lo and behold, they don't ever find any form that kind of brought them here in the first place. He said he understands how big clubs work and how fans work. He's just got his head down, finding that rhythm. And the manager spoke about it quite a lot as well, building his confidence, working again a lot in that kind of movement. Now we're looking at the finishing, and he deserves his applause when that number 9 is read out on the tannoy later on. But again, a different game. And is anyone going to get close enough to him? Because I think that was a lot of my frustrations the last couple of... I thought he's doing a lot of good work. Mm-hmm. He's holding up far better than he has before. Who the fuck's near him?
That's what I mean about Raskin. Drive into the box.
Anyone, really.
Get
more
forward.
Centrally would
more
be
central,
the ideal.
This, if I do have a concern tonight, I think Rangers will win tonight. I think Rangers will win 2-1. There's my prediction. I think because people are excited and upbeat, that there's maybe a sense of coming into the ground, expectations are raised, understandably. It's still the same squad, and that I don't think has changed. So I don't mean to be the harbinger of doom, and I'm not. I think Rangers will win tonight, but I don't think it will be a free-flowing saunter.
I would agree. It isn't going to be like the elation that we felt on Saturday. It couldn't be. But that doesn't matter if you win 1-0 and you just kind of get up the road and keep this thing moving on. As I said, I wasn't surprised at all. Even at half-time, wasn't surprised that we won on Saturday. I would take to my bed with shock if this Rangers team, given the evidence that we have seen, are able to then put 6-8 wins together in a row. Because any of Rangers, Celtic and Hearts, if they can do that into March, I think we'll win the league, because it's that scoreboard pressure that just makes other teams slip up. Pressure gets on. I would be very pleasantly surprised if we're able to do that. 2 huge games back to back. We'll see if Sunday's goes on because of the weather and whatever else. But aye, it's just kind of getting the job done tonight, Davey. I do expect it to be a little flat just because it's after the Lord Mayor's show, but that's fine. You just go and do that job, right?
Absolutely. And subs for Rangers tonight: Kelly, Inciala, Aarons, Sterling, Matondo, Dowell, Asgard, Miovski and Danilo. Martin, your prediction?
1-0. It'll be very similar to the St Mirren and Motherwell, I think.
I think the same. So, right, we'll be back after the match. We'll hear from Danny Rule. Until then, moan the Bears. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
That was a Heart and Hand production.